If there's one thing that doesn't get enough love when it comes to Survivor, it is the cinematography. There are some absolutely fantastic shots, and not just of the wildlife and surrounding islands, but of the players too. The camera crew have always been at the top of their game to provide the editors with a lot of high quality footage to sift through, and for a couple of minutes, I just want to give them a shout out. Without this camera crew down in the mud, the dirt, the sand, and let's not forget the stench, this show would never make air. Ladies and gents, internet, my name is Peridiam, and let's talk about several times the editors took that beautiful camera work, cut it up into like a million different pieces, and then reproduced it in a way that left us wanting. You're telling me there wasn't more incredible footage of Natalie White hunting a shark? For real, while the cinematography on the show is great, many times you binge a few episodes and they all start to blend together. You've seen a lot of these scenes before, players talking strategy, competing in challenges, getting snippy with each other back at camp, but a few times over the span of over 20 years and 40 seasons, the editors sometimes change it up. I've talked about narrative storytelling in a previous video, but this time, let's talk about when the editors get a little spicier. A lot of what we're about to talk about are quick moments that really add to the scene. There are sometimes minor details that enhance the footage by making us laugh or making things easier for us to notice in the frame. For example, in a video about Flash, how about when the editors actually use Flash in the episode? In episode 9 of season 37, David vs. Goliath, we get an idol hunting scene with Christian. He talks about his strategy to find the idol. He needs to search all over the island, but it's a big island. So he uses what he calls a breadth-first search. He divides the island into sectors, and as he's telling us this, the editors get flashy.
Where the idea is that you search around a lot of different places a little bit, instead of a few places a lot. I basically sort of break down the areas into sectors. So I'm working through my sectors and making sure that I'm not spending too much time in any given one.
Where's this? Where's this?
And wouldn't you know it, it's an idol.
I don't even know if these sectors actually align with what Christian is describing, but either way, it provides a unique visual for the audience to better understand the method he's using and why it's about to work out for him. In season 15, China, we had several flashy moments in the edit, particularly in the challenges. These always stood out to me, and I wonder why the editors don't do this more often. In the throwing star challenge, the editors would have a quick flash on the screen to indicate where the player's star landed. Maybe it's just because we don't get throwing star challenges anymore, we could use a few more of those, I guess. But I really liked how this little indicator helped us, the audience, better see what was happening. In another challenge, when they had to cut a rope, right as the rope was being sliced, a freeze frame happened, and it made the challenge a lot more visually striking. Or when they threw bolas, there were these cool shots. In Survivor 41, they began to do slow-mo shots of people sliding across balance beams. Gotta say, doesn't hit the same. But perhaps my favorite flash in Survivor history is from Survivor the Amazon. And no, I'm kidding. It's from season 25, the Philippines. It's in episode 4, when Russell Swan is looking for an idol around camp. He has this fantastic confessional where he talks to the editors, tells us, the audience, that the editors are gonna make fun of him for not being able to find the idol. And yeah, then they do.
The real frustrating part is I have a feeling that I've been like past this thing like 100 million times. It's like right there. And then everybody's gonna see, there's gonna be like this flash on the screen, and they're gonna be like, this dummy keeps walking past it, and it just sucks.
Another flashy technique that I don't see get used very often is the flashback, particularly in the middle of an episode. I think the best example would be from season 34, Game Changers, when Debbie just totally loses her shit on Brad Culpepper after she flubs a challenge on a balance beam. Debbie blows the challenge and then tells us that Brad is a dictator, a wanker. He broke her heart. And then we get a quick flashback where he's literally shown listening to her. She said she was good at the balance beam, and so the tribe said, "Great, Debbie, go for it." And somehow this was Brad's fault. This guy cannot catch a break. But the editors choose to use the flashback to undermine Debbie as she's talking to us literally mid-sentence.
I have a really good sense of balance.
Okay, then you balance.
Mana was in the lead, but they are dead last now as Debbie drops again. She has lost a lot of time. Debbie continues to try to get through this obstacle for Mana. Debbie fails again.
She was adamant about doing it, wasn't she?
I know. We lost, and we don't strategize. It's a dictatorship with Brad just telling people what positions they're going to take. I have a really good sense of balance.
Okay, then you balance.
If Haley wants to do the balance beam, even though she cost us peanut butter and jelly by dicking around for 10 frickin' minutes, and I zipped across a balance beam in 30 seconds, that means you don't respect me.
I have a really good sense of balance.
Okay, then you balance.
I also kind of need to mention that in my previous video about nonlinear storytelling, which was after Survivor Winners at War, I predicted that the editors would use these techniques more often going forward. And guess what? In the very next season, Survivor 41, we had a great series of moments of nonlinear storytelling pop up on the screen in some of the boldest editing the show has ever done. Between Nasir finding the Luvu idol and then surprising everyone at the last second, wait, what?
Jeff, I am as confused as a goat on AstroTurf. Oh my God. I was looking early morning and all of a sudden I saw something right on a branch. I'm like, whoa. This is for you, my love. Rhea, love you. Yeah.
To when Xander created the fake idol and passed his real one off to Tiffany at the merge. This is highly unusual for the Survivor editors to tell their story out of order, and I personally loved it. It's punchy, it's dramatic, it's like the heist movie with a big reveal. Dare I say, it's flashy. I hope we get more in the future. We also very rarely get the flash forward technique instead of the flash back, where the editors show us things to come, like a teaser, instead of things that have already happened. You kind of see this at the end of every episode when Jeff says,
"Stay tuned for scenes from our next episode."
But during season 39, Island of the Idols, the editors chose to show us scenes of the upcoming episode at the start of the current episode.
Oh my, I can see my bones.
And to be honest, I don't love this technique, and I'm glad they stopped doing it after just one season. It kind of feels like mild spoilers, and I'm guessing that because they ditched this flash forward by the next season, it didn't seem to work out for them all that much. One of my favorite editing techniques is when the editors use different players' confessionals to work off each other. This doesn't happen very often, so try to look out for it, but I think when it does, it's magic. We saw it used in episode 3 of Heroes vs. Villains when Jerry and Parvati were going at each other. Jerry talks crap about Parv to the camera about how she's frustrating her so much, and then right away at the end of Jerry talking to the camera, talking to us in her confessional, the camera then switches directly to Parvati, as if she's finishing Jerry's sentence or reacting to what Jerry just said.
Where every time I'm around here, I just want to punch her in the face. That's all I can think about is just taking her down. But I'll tell you what.
Jerry's annoying. I know she's running around behind my back talking about me. She's just like a bitter old cougar, and I think her days are numbered too.
There's another quick moment in episode 12 of season 25, Philippines, when Carter is giving a confessional talking about the one and only Abby Maria. Abby has been annoying to the rest of the tribe, and Carter wonders if it's because she's from another country. But then right away, Denise jumps in from her own confessional to shoot down Carter's hypothesis.
Abby's personality coming off strong, part of it maybe because she's from another country.
It is not a cultural thing. It's her personality. This histrionic, dramatic, passive-aggressive, martyr. It's not culture, it's the culture of Abby.
But the absolute best instance of this editing technique is during the merge of season 36, Ghost Island, when Dominic and Chris get into a heated battle against each other. They trade verbal blows from afar, in confessional, and while talking to other people, not each other. But the editors go on to stitch it all together to compare the two men and their feud to show them kind of side by side, yet also distant from each other on the island. Laurel says they can't stop talking about each other, and it's proving to be true, and then we have this great moment that, for copyright reasons, it's going to be tricky for me to show it in its entirety, but you'll get the gist of it. Dom says Chris is an idiot and says ridiculous stuff, to which we then flash to Chris, who almost appears to be waiting as if on cue to say something ridiculous. Then we cut to Dom, who appears to be reacting to what Chris just said. Bear in mind, they are not actually reacting to each other. None of this is actually happening, but the editors work their magic to make it appear as if it is. And it's so much fun to watch play out. I highly recommend checking out this moment in its entirety when you get the chance.
He's a joke because some of the things that come out of his mouth are just so ridiculous.
I would love to compare myself to, like, the Dwayne Wades, man. I started from the bottom and now I'm here.
And I think it's only appropriate that we end this video with one of my favorite montage quick cuts in the edit that we have ever seen, and that is from season 33, Millennials versus Gen X. In episode 10, when the entire tribe finally learns that Jay, in fact, might have an idol. Because several episodes prior, Jay and Will found an idol and Jay was holding it, and now in episode 10, several episodes later, Will decided to tell Zeke about Jay's idol. Will wanted to garner trust with Zeke. He tells us that he thinks this is going to work out for him, he doesn't want to tell anyone else. Zeke says that he won't tell anyone, and then we get a montage for the ages. Zeke tells David about the idol, David tells Chris, David tells Hannah, Zeke tells Hannah, Chris tells Brett, David tells Ken, and then Zeke tells Chris. Yeah. What's so brilliant here, beyond the comedy of the editing, is that because it cuts so quickly from person to person, at times it appears as if one player is talking to another, but then the camera shows us they're talking to somebody completely different. They even finish each other's sentences.
Jay does have an idol. We found it together on Igabula. But if anybody else finds out and that gets back to Jay, then I'm screwed.
Jay does have an idol. That's good to know. Jay does have an idol. But did you hear what Will told Zeke?
No, what?
Jay has an idol. I can confirm Jay has an idol.
Jay does have an idol.
That Jay has an idol. So Jay has an idol.
Don't say anything about the idol.
I won't.
Yeah, I know you won't.
There's definitely a lot to talk about when it comes to the presentation of Survivor and its screen time equity, but for the time being, these were some of my favorite moments where the editors got flashy and threw us a curveball. All of these moments are pretty rare, but you know what? Sometimes it's about the little things. And I want to leave you by asking, are there any other flashy or creative editing moments throughout the show's history that stood out to you? In the end, thank you all for watching. A huge thank you to my patrons on the screen. I hope you all enjoyed this little video, and don't forget, on your way out, it doesn't hurt to get into the good graces of the editors and play to the camera from time to time. You know, give them something to work with. And I will see you in the next one once I finish my own.
Stop rapping. You're trash at rapping. You're garbage at rapping. You can't rap. You have no bars. Put the mic down, bro. Put the pen down, bro. Use an eraser.
Living a dream on Ponderosa. Swung for the fences, I call it Sammy Sosa. We juice all day and toss the corks in the roasters. Probes on deck, feel the burn when he hosts ya. Life is a beach as I sip my Corona. Survivor on my mind, that's why I Ponderosa. It will toast ya, maybe bloat ya. Send you to tribal where they roast ya. Oh, Vanaka. Great take, guys. Nailed it.